It is the 27th of July, 2026, and it is episode 76. I don't know if that works. Can you do the reverse? 76? Is that a thing? Maybe probably not a thing, is it? Well, it's not 67, it's the
we're
opposite. We're really
we don't
old.
Get the young people anymore.
We're really old. We don't understand any of this. I didn't pop my snooze in. Don't do it. It's very bad for your health. But I'm now getting updated on it all. So here we are, ready to rock it with another episode of the All About Counter-Strike podcast. I hope everyone is enjoying the start to the Counter-Strike season as it was. Devilwalk, this last week for me has been early. I'm in Portugal, right? It's an hour earlier than you guys. So I was getting okay, it's going to sound, people who work 9 to 5 job probably say, oh, that's fine. But I was waking up at 8 in the morning. That's not a normal wake-up time for me, man.
I mean,
it's
it's
really
for
bad
gamers,
for esports.
That's a terrible way to wake up.
You know, most events, I'm not waking up at that time of morning. Most at all. But yeah, we were on 4 best of 3s a day. I was just living and breathing Blast and spending time with my family afterwards and playing a bit of Digimon. That was about it. That's all I've been doing. Playing Digimon Masters Online a bit in the evening when everyone went to sleep, covering Blast, watching the games, and going through it all. You've had a bit more activity, though. You lost your job, then you went on a crazy bender for the whole weekend. That's going to make you sound like a complete degenerate. You could explain.
Yeah, so I obviously was GM for ALGO, and they decided to shut down the organization. I've only been there for a few months. I didn't do anything wrong. I want to clarify that. They did thank me for my professionality and professionalism during this time.
Professionality? Is that like your personality?
I don't
know.
Professional give me a little bit of a break here. Give me a little bit of a break here, because the other bender part is why I might be misspeaking at some points during this podcast. I was at a wedding this weekend, and we went there on Friday. We came home at about 4 on Sunday, and I, as a 35-year-old, am still hungover, even though it's Monday. So I have a massive headache. I don't feel very well, but we have to talk about Counter-Strike, and we have to do this podcast. So, I mean, I have to just bite in the sour apple. Is that something you say in English?
Not a phrase I personally know or use, but I do understand what you're talking about, so I get it. I understand. That's one I can understand in your Swedish world of craziness that you live in. But you had a good party weekend then, didn't you? You got to enjoy your time, and now you're suffering for it. So that's part of it. That's life, You get older, it doesn't get easier, that's for sure. And it doesn't get easier for teams and organizations. So one thing, I don't know if people have watched it, but I'm not just a friend of Mira, right? I know his wife, his kid. I think Mira is just a lovely person. Lewis Mira has worked in esports since the early days of Counter-Strike. I've known him since I was playing 1.6 back in 2007, 8 kind of times. Now his actual title on HOTU is he's lead reporter. So he doesn't do the normal news and stuff like that. He's breaking stories. And he's got so many contacts from the top to the bottom. If no one's looked at this, we'll put a link in the description because I think this deserves it. He put the title of this as a catastrophe, how the new major sticker system is impacting the CS scene. And a lot of the information in here, man, is so on point from what we'd been hearing, from what we'd heard, right? For teams that had maybe got their first major and thought we've made it, for organizations investing in CS teams, hoping for that bit of sticker money and then it floundering. Obviously, we've spoken a lot on the podcast already about just the terrible situation that this is all in, right? Because it is rough out here. It is not good at all. But I will say this, that for where we're at right now with the stickers, this is going to do so much damage if it isn't turned around. And it's already doing some damage, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But everyone should read this to get an understanding of it. Because contracts got messed up. The way contracts were worded and how the money splits works between players and organizations. And I saw some comments, right? And obviously this is just I read, by the way, I don't know why I do this, but I read some just people's replies to tweets or comments on HLTV or Reddit or Twitter, and people were like, oh, but these players make so much money. It's I understand that, but they're professional athletes in a industry which has good amount of money. And it is a bit of an esports winter. It's not as much as it was a few years ago.
But it's also not the top players who is going to be massively impacted by this either.
Not
they
true.
Are impacted.
Not true. Everyone's going to be hit by the way if this stays, because orgs are going to go to players at some point and say, well, we're paying you this, but this ain't working out. Like, maybe not some of the Vitalities or Falcons of the world, but the middle to high, where like, I don't know, maybe a MOUZ or something, when they see this revenue's not working, you know, and it's not generating the same as it was before, like, it will have an impact because it hurts the money coming into the teams.
Yes, obviously, but the impact it has is far, far less on the top teams than it has on the bottom tier of esports organizations. Because, I mean, kind of how it's worked for a very, very long time is that esports orgs, they start up, they get a team, and they basically gamble with a lot of money. They make a team they think is ready to qualify for the major so that they can get a return of their investment and keep building the organization that way. And that's going to completely disappear with the new sticker system. Everyone's, making financial kind of equations and understanding that this is not viable. This is not something that we are willing to put money on. This is not something we want to invest in. And it also becomes a problem, like you mentioned, with some players. They're very, very, they've played for a long time. They have a good amount of following. They earn a lot of money. They have that standard. And that standard has to be lowered. And that's not an easy thing to negotiate with players. And it's going to impact a lot of teams. I mean, both in terms of you can't have that many high-paid players unless you're a Falcons, maybe.
Or a Vitality. So there's some organizations that can hold their own within this, but it is still going to hurt the money that comes in that then versus what's going out, right? Which is always what they're going to look at. But I'll say this, when you're saying about players, there are some players, and I can't name names, but there are some amazing, talented, very skilled players who have had long careers and potentially have made lots of money, but they don't do the smartest things with their money. They might not be saving it. They might be gambling addicts, right? They might be doing something a bit too crazy or stupid. And that means that change of lifestyle sometimes isn't so easy. So there's a whole other side of this as well, but that's more their problem to deal with, right? The thing that actually reflects perfectly to your situation in this, and is, by the way, we will see this, if this stays like this, and I know I said it last episode, so I'll quickly just say it again. I didn't buy anything on this sticker thing. I did the pass.
Me neither.
Yeah? No, but you never really, you're not that person.
I always buy stickers at the majors. Okay. Always, because they're just a couple of, 70 cents or something you buy them for. And before, when you had the capsules, I didn't invest like a lot of money into it, but I would buy maybe 100 stickers per major, something like that. Let it sit in the inventory.
Okay, even you who doesn't do this stuff, like that's not you, right? You don't do the skins, you don't do anything like that. So
I don't, but the stickers has always been kind of a soft spot for me. I don't really care what guns I have or whatever. But just having the memory of either having watched, played, or being part of a major and having the stickers of that major, it's always been something I've liked.
Look at that! I basically collect every type of Na'vi sticker there is. Right, I have all of them. I also just open them, and I like them. I don't go and buy the stickers more often than not. I literally just open on stream, do it. Oh, I didn't get what I wanted. Oh, I got this player I don't like, or just like I'm not interested in this player, right? But I'm part of the ecosystem. I'm doing that. Obviously, this has gone away, and this is not just like us saying it. There are so many people, from fans to people who work in the industry, who are just not done it. So everyone's been hit by this. And the other fallout of this is, if you're a new organization, you just made your first major, you saw this as the outward money, and you probably spent more than what money you're going to get back, right? So just to qualify in all the tier 2 events and how VRS works right now, flights, hotels, remember, entry to tournaments, then you subtract that from the very little money that came through from this new system, you're going to go, yikes. And then another thing is, new organizations who were hoping to come in and take a piece of this, right? How the system previously worked. They are now either backing out. We saw like Gaming Gladiators went. We covered that the other day. But your situation, ALGO, one of their reasons, right, why they closed this project down and don't have a job is because the stickers. Yeah, because of the new system.
Yeah, it's 100%. It's I mean, I worked for about 4 months to assemble a roster. We were very, very close and in the final stages and negotiated the salaries, all the bonuses, how it's going to be worded in the contract with Nexa, Madden, Cypher, and we're potentially in like having conversations with Heroic about Youngstar.
Okay, so you had 4 out of 5 already?
We had 4 out of 5 already. Kind of, that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
And
lucky you didn't bite the bullet and already buy and pay that onto Youngster, right?
Yeah, and I mean,
imagine if you'd done that.
It's a weird situation. We never came to an agreement with Heroic or anything like that. But we started conversations and kind of got the information we needed to start with. But it's disappointing because then they obviously in ALGO they made some with their investors and everyone behind that I haven't really met and talked to. They kind of made like a financial kind of report of how likely is it that we are going to recuperate some of the investments that we're going to make.
Yeah.
And they did not have any good projections on that, and essentially they couldn't argue for putting that money in. And it makes sense. I'm not mad or anything at them for that. I'm just disappointed in how everything kind of went. But I think there's also
it's
like
the time you put in, right, and the players you
time
convinced to join.
Exactly, and that makes it hurts me more than as a person, because I've told them how great this is gonna be, and then nothing really materialized from it. So that sucks. But at the end of the day, it's understandable. I think in the future, Valve is going to have to change it. They will change it, but the question is when. And for a lot of organizations, you can't really put out 20 to 30 grand a month, even more with some of the costs that comes with attending the LAN events a month, just to hope that maybe in a year they'll fix this. Because as we know, Valve, there's no communication. No one really knows anything. Even if you talk about, us who have contacts with some of the most informed people in the entire scene.
Yep.
There's no way to get that information when that would happen. And this makes a lot of people back out. Makes a lot of people say, okay, this is not worth it anymore. Because there's no, even if we win the major, we might not even get a return of our investment.
It's a sad state of where things are at right now. But that was just our touching point on that, right? How it all links together. If you haven't looked at the article, definitely check it out. But I think this is what we're seeing will be the beginning of more information about teams or organizations coming out of Counter-Strike.
It's just
sadly.
so sad because we just got into a place where tier 2 tournaments are thriving. People are making money from all kind of avenues of Counter-Strike, not only being an org or a player or whatever. We had a really, really healthy ecosystem in place. Probably the healthiest that I've ever seen in Counter-Strike, to be fair. And then it just stops after 6 months, a year?
Yeah, for now, it's obviously there will still be the teams that have got players and stuff rocking and rolling with it, especially ones that are maybe less invested, the salaries are lower and stuff, but it's going to have a knock-on effect, and it's something we need to keep an eye on to know exactly where it's going to go and how it's going to happen. But I am worried about it.
One more thing about it. Because, I mean, if you look at tier 2 events, and the way that contracts are going to be worded in the future, are essentially that when a team sends, an organization sends a team to a LAN.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, let's say it's 30,000 in the prize pool.
Yeah.
But the organization has to have flights, hotels, travel, food, whatever is necessary to make that trip possible for all these players, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's enormous amounts of costs. And where that is going to be taken from is the players' prize money. That's the only... So people who win...
Depending on the organization, they might do that, yeah.
No, it's actually becoming standard now in contracts.
For these tier 2, tier 3 teams, right?
100%. Yeah. Because otherwise they can't recuperate any costs. So essentially, they're just going to a tournament and players might not even win a single dime.
But also, it's the core of players, right, that have the slot as well.
Yes.
Yeah? So the players have that power that they can go, depending on...
Well, if they're willing to pay that amount.
Yeah. But also, there's some organizations already, like smaller orgs, that do have sponsors, you know? If it's local sponsors or something like that, where they've got some more money coming in that sense. But it's for the ones that are right on the edge or don't have big budgets, they might look at that as well.
I think a lot of orgs, even if you have money, are essentially going to take that route. That's just what I think.
I did hear one thing, but it's only from one team that basically, and I think they were working with one of the agents to say that if it stays the way it is, it has this clause, and if it goes back to the old way, it goes to this clause. So they have like a while it's this is what's agreed, and if it goes to the old way, you go back to what this was agreed there. So they're rather than adjusting or editing our whole contract, they're just putting clauses in to fix and go around the issue, which is a good solution for now, right? But obviously, everyone still needs to agree on it. For some it's not so easy with that. But that's enough of that. We've got the rest of the show to get on with. Next thing, NIP put Young Ninjas on hold. I think with one thing, right? Obviously, I was so positive about the Academy League and everything like that. I was obviously heavily involved in making the We Play Academy League. It was great at its time with what it had, and I wish it was still running. But Academy teams now can have so many opportunities at these tier 2, tier 3 events that, like, they've almost got more opportunities. For me, it doesn't make sense why NIP would knock this on the head. Like, I don't understand the reasoning behind it, man. I think you would need to keep it. They need talent coming through. They just took the Note guy to the main roster, and they don't want to be spending money on buying players out the whole time. If you're a bigger named org, you should have an academy team. Your Navis of the world do, right? Vitality has one. Spirit has one. There's probably more, but I'm just not thinking of it off the top of my head. I don't know. It's not a good sign that NIP are doing this.
No, and I think this kind of ties it together. They are trying to cut costs any way they can until they get agreements in place that makes it functional for them as an organization.
But didn't they say they were making tons of money from like farming crypto in the Middle East at one point as well? Like,
I mean, they probably lost a lot of that money in recent crypto.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not completely. It's not completely at the bottom.
Well, no,
Bitcoin's still like 70k.
Well, I don't know exactly.
64k.
Yeah. But it's dropped a lot. Like, it was
from the 90s.
20k at one point, I think.
But that's what it does. It always goes. It's got those dips and ups and downs, right? It's a sad thing to see.
I believe it is because of cutting costs.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense then, I guess. But I just think if you're a top organization, you want to be holding on to it. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go through all of what happened at the Blast Bounty 2026 online portion. But the first thing we need to cover, right, is obviously Blast Bounty is a strange event because I'm going to read Mr. Where is it? I've got it open here. Mr. Jesper Larsson's tweet. If you don't know Jesper, his name is Udknud on Twitter, and he's a beast. He's always covering all the things. So
he's
LAN
like the
finals,
main guy for VRS.
Yeah. LAN finals has $740,000 VRS prize pool, 0.88 weight. But the online stage, which was normally worse, right? It's not as good to go for, has a $780,000. So higher because of how it works out. There's a 0.90 event rating, event weight for the prize money. because obviously so many of the favorites lost and pulled that money out of the event, right? If that's how I'm understanding it correctly.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the favorites had big bounties, and they lost a lot of that bounty, right? Because of them losing. So it actually made it so the online qualifier portion had so much money it had to be paid out, because, I mean, you're working at the event. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it's something like bounty offered you take half and keep half in the bounty, or
Yeah. You can't wager the bounties anymore. That's gone because people weren't doing it anyway. But I mean, if you're a bounty hunter and you have zero money coming in, you get half of the bounty you took into your like bounty itself, and then the other half sits there with you.
Yeah.
But obviously there was a lot of crazy games that went down. So a lot of big money players lost very early on.
A lot of big favorites are not in the LAN finals portions.
By the way, so as we covered this, right? So the event weight now for the LAN finals has gone down, right? Which means it's like there's actually more VRS. Is there more VRS points for online?
Yes.
Is that what it is now? So there was more for the online portion. There was more VRS points.
Well, I think obviously no. Okay, before we go into that.
Yeah.
So this is just event weight, right? Doesn't it add on LAN as well? Or is it only prize money?
No, they're two separate events.
Yeah. That I know. But I'm thinking the event weight, isn't that only based on prize money? Or is that based on LAN events as well? This is the conclusion part.
There's more with... It's not... So the event weight... It just says less event weight. So he's just said that the LAN finals will have less event weight overall. So it has less now than the online qualifier, which is crazy, which is doesn't normally happen, where LAN is a bigger portion of it, right? And obviously more top level teams. So they've been hit on all sides by it. Yep. Obviously, we should note that in 2027, Blast will not have this format anymore. So it will change, because obviously they've had discussions with teams and they want to make sure the teams still want to go to their events and don't have these situations. So this is the last one to go through. And I hope what it means is that we like, that means like it stabilizes, right? Because Blast used to always be the best for me, because spring and fall groups of the old Blast Premier format was always first event of the season, see the new teams, see the new rosters, but they have multiple LAN games and they weren't eliminated in one game. And then you get to see a bit more of it. But obviously with the online portion of one game and you're out, yeah, it's high stakes, but it also is a rough ride for just one bad game, you know?
Yeah.
So it gets a bit crazy. What I do before we get into actually like going down the teams and where we're at right now with it, I want to say this. I said on the last episode, some of these big teams will lose. We predicted the Falcons might lose that first game, but we did say, don't overreact to it. Now, obviously, all of the social media people out there are overreacting, but I want to say this. There are some people on Twitter that are completely fine with their news posting. There's like Osney, Four has a few crazy ones at times, but he's okay. They all do sometimes a bit of fuck ups with like not linking the content. They just remember, they always take the content and then they put it out there in Word format and they make it easy digestible, but they take the headlines, right? And then they link the main thing afterwards. Sometimes they don't always link it, which is very bad by them. They should definitely always link it, always give credit. But there are a lot of new Twitter accounts I'm seeing, because if you use, I don't use the For You tab, yeah? I use the following tab, so I only see what people I'm following. But on my phone, it defaults to the For You every time, so you have to go through it. So sometimes I just scroll and I go, what is this? What is this crap? And there are people with like, they're associated with some company, yeah? Not even a company I've ever heard of or anything as well, right? And they'll just be posting some real headline garbage, negativity, drama creating, and then if you actually look into the details, it's not as bad as what they make it out to be. So obviously what they want, right, is to rile everyone up, because guess what, guys, just for you to know, they are getting paid to tweet. Based on the impressions they get, they already get money from Twitter, yeah? So there's the X monetization, but then they get paid by this company as well for the impressions. So it's created this like super negative, drama focused content all the time. And these people are not big brain Counter-Strike people. Maybe some of them are actually good, yeah? Maybe some of them. I can't talk to everyone. I'm not going to generalize, but there are so many wankers There are so many fucking wankers doing this, because what it does is it drives up lies, negativity, drama for impressions and for money. So it is emphasizing this negative thoughts on it all. Oh, Falcons are going to disband because of this loss. They had a major fluke. No. And by the way, their major wasn't a fluke. It was one of the toughest major runs ever. But if you're a normal CS fan who's following lots of CS stuff and you get this in your For You feed and maybe you're not so social media savvy, you'll just be consuming this like, it's not even brain rot, it's just like brain disease almost. That's what I'm going to call it. Like that it's so awful, because I can just imagine this like spiral of negativity people get into, and the overreactions I saw. Oh, Vitality, like they should have made a change in the off season. It's like, guys, this is my question, by the way, where I'm going with this Devilwalk, because I'm just rambling in my hatred for this kind of horrible stuff. You are a major champion as a player, as a coach. You have coached some fucking incredible players across your career. How much does online really matter? Like, if you're going to look at this result and look at any of the teams that lost, even if it was close, even if Falcons threw a huge lead, does this impact anything for you of the rest of this year when we see them back on LAN and back in a normal situation? Because personally for me, there was not even though Falcons were 9-3 up, I never looked at the result and went, yeah, this is terrible. You know, something's good. Like, I just thought, it's an online game. I can accept this. As long as the next couple of events, they're back on track, then there's no worries, right? I'm not judging it by what. If it was LAN, I might have a harsher opinion on the result. But it's just an online game, man. And the first game back after a break.
So, from a coaching perspective and a player's perspective, I can tell you that I personally prefer to lose the first game of the season. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Number one, when you've had a successful season, it's easy to go into a season relaxed, not work as hard or take things for granted. I'm not saying this is an intentional behavior. It's just something that happens. And getting a kick, in the butt or stomach, whatever you want to call it, generally is a really good thing, because what happens? The team takes a meeting. Okay, let's digest. What the fuck went wrong?
Yeah.
And you actually go into detail. We need more of this. We need more of this from you, and you need to do more of this. Otherwise, we have the reference of our tournaments from last year. This is what we did good. This is what we did good, and it's lacking now. And it's so fresh in the memory, because it was just, a month or a half back, that this usually kickstarts a team into being incredibly good in the next couple of events. They will work overtime. None of these players are players that likes to lose. They will grind 1-2 more Faceit games per day. They will put in extra hours. They will think about what went wrong. Why aren't they comfortable? It just kicksparks the season in a way that makes everyone work much harder. Now, obviously, there are cases where that doesn't happen, but it's if it continuously happens, you don't find your footing. You lose the next event and the next event, and then you can start thinking about desperation. But for now, like I see it as just very natural. We saw it every single time with Vitality, every single Blast Bounty. They're still the greatest run in history of Counter-Strike. They started with losing at Blast Bounty.
Yep. See, did get to the LAN portion, but it's the online bit. I mean,
it's not a big deal. It's definitely not a big deal.
And that's it, right? That's why I'm saying, for these people, they're not. Again, I'm not generalizing. It can't be all of them. There are some good news people out there that are posting some of this stuff fairly and reasonably, but there are a lot of people who are fake fans of the game, who are drama focused and posting rubbish all the time to get money and to generate clicks. And don't fall and don't buy into that stuff. That's what I would say, because it's not worth it. Come to podcasts like this and get your information and get your actual real knowledge and opinion-based stuff.
I will also mention that every single top team value like the scheduling for the entire year, because they have a much busier scheduling than some of the lower tier teams. If we just take some examples for Blast Bounty online stage, like I personally think that most teams on the lower part of the list, let's say the 4 last rows from, or even maybe not only the 3 upper rows of teams, Falcons to Astralis, they probably pracked a week and a half less than the rest of the teams. I am almost certain that is the case, which is why you always get interesting results in the first tournament of the year. Because if I am, let's say, 100 Thieves, I'm 100% starting practice early, 100% prepping things early, because I want the upswing now. Because they need it for their entire season to kind of roll in a good way. The top teams don't need to. They don't need to win this event. They don't need the VRS. There's a completely different levels of motivation. They want to start off. They want to check themselves where they are at, which teams. But the other ones, they're aiming for the top. They want to take someone down, and they're gonna do everything in their power to do so, even cut off their break during the summer.
Well, in terms of that, right, cutting off their breaks for the summer, coming back earlier, how different teams want to do it, different rosters as well. We're going to go through the crazy amount of teams we do have here. Some we will go through more quickly. M80, for example, just the first one to look at here. They came over to Europe with just 2 or 3 days after coming back from America, right?
Predictions?
Oh, yeah, predictions from the last one. I don't know, do we?
Oh, I got a screenshot here.
Cool. I'll let you roll that.
Okay, so M80 versus NIP.
Yep.
I picked NIP and you picked M80. I got fun. I randomly went for NIP, but only because I saw them.
But all I'm going to do here, I'm not going to so much talk about the match. We're just going to talk about the team, right? Yep. And also why it wasn't like... M80, they picked NIP. They went for this one. NIP had a higher rating at the time because they'd done well at Astana previously. They'd had some points come through. But M80 already qualified for Blast Open Porto by just destroying everyone 2-0 in the Americas event, right? Then they came over with just a few days left to Europe and probably not feeling too good, probably jet lagged a bit. M80 versus NIP. I think M80 should have been a better team, but I'm not worried about them losing this game. Like, I do think at the next events, even if it's like Porto or whatever they're doing, they need to start showing these improvements because they've stuck with the same core for a long time, and JBA now has had more time to be free and do the things he does, you know? It's no longer being micromanaged like it was on Wildcard, so that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, slightly disappointed in M80, personally. I really like the team. I haven't really seen them have that upswing that I thought they would with JBA. Still kind of looking for that, still waiting for that. And I think this is a game that they should be probably taking if they get that upswing, if they get everyone shooting on the same cylinder and understanding the game in the same pace. But it's clear that it's not clicked yet. And I'm wondering how much time they're actually going to give it.
It's getting there, right? To the point where something might have to give.
And yes, it's contradictory to what we say about the top teams previously, that they shouldn't be worried about this type of teams. But I think if you look from a perspective of someone who is at like a 20 to 40 type ranking, it's a completely different ball game. You have to get a good start in the season. You have to get the ball rolling early. Otherwise, you just disappear.
Yeah, definitely. Next out was Nemesis. Now, Nemesis, obviously quite interesting at XSE, right? When we spoke about them, what they could do at China. I thought this would be their wheelhouse because they're going up against an Astralis and they're playing online. Astralis was playing this from boot camp Obviously, they've just got Ursula in and Neo in, new coach, and going through things. This was a bit of a back and forth game. Nemesis took Nuke by like the very skin of their teeth. Nemesis, when they spoke to me in the interview, by the way, Celta, the IGL, he was like, he basically said Astralis like is not the same as a top team for where their ranking is and stuff. Like, he was not worried about him. And yeah, they gave him a good game, but you can still see the differences, right? And Yabby had like, not a live game, but like one of his top games, like dominant on both Ancient and Cash. But yeah, for Nemesis, it's fine. They're a team that's trying to grind their way up. There's nothing you really need to say on it, right?
No, not really. I mean, it's cool to have Cash back, seeing, Swedish Opera on Cash again, like that. Fuzi had a great game there. But both of us predicted Astralis in this one. I think that's fair.
By the way, I'm still a little bit worried about Fuzi, by the way. Because this game is not, like, we'll talk about Astralis when we get to them, but I'm still a little bit worried about him. Just to mention that as a memory point in there. Nuclear Tiger Res next. Like, you played MOUZ. You're not supposed to win that game. This is just about getting some experience. Like, that, I've got nothing else to say about it. Like,
I mean, it's good to see that PR can kind of go into that lineup and perform instantly. I guess that's what you can say.
Yeah. Yeah, but we're not talking about MOUZ right now. We're talking about that Nuclear Tiger.
True, but we're talking about the game.
Alliance, I will say this was disappointing. This was a disappointing game for me because Alliance is used to online. They just had that really good placing at XSE. But Wildcard, to me, even though it's a very new Wildcard, we'll make it very clear here. I hate the organization because of what they did to certain players and the contract stuff they pulled. It's not a good organization. I love the players they've got on there. Hext is awesome. Rekt is really fucking cool. Sigsy, I haven't got too much experience with him and the Europeans they have on the team as well. I don't really know them guys massively. But I expected more of Alliance because this is online. They're a team that's grinding, and this is still a very important event for them for anything they can get done right on their way up. It just fell flat for me. I just thought, like, even if you lose the game, they should be at least more competitive than what they were. They lost 13-3 and 13-7. But as long as the next events are fine, but mostly their events are going to be online, then we need to see where they go with it, right? It's
also their first loss on Inferno in, it's 3 months period.
Yeah.
If we take last 6 months, 10 losses, but they had a win streak of, let's see here. They had a win streak of,
what is going on in your home?
13 wins in a row before this loss. So it's very disappointing to lose 13-3 on that map pick because they're very, very good on Inferno normally.
I don't know if this next one's disappointing or not. Eyeballers did tell me in the interview, I spoke to Crims, that they were taking a break after XPL. So they didn't have as much practice as what, like, another team would have coming in there. So they were basically just coming off vacation to come in and play this. But then also Youngstar substituted Maxter because Maxter was still on vacation because they'd agreed it in advance. So I don't know. If I'm Eyeballers, maybe you just shouldn't have accepted this invite considering you went to XC. I'm not going to say anything else because I hyped this up as a potential good rematch. Youngster was the star of the show. He was playing exactly Maxter's roles and he did very well, by the way. So when you said you wanted him for your team, he's pretty solid. He's pretty solid now. He's back on the rifle.
That's the reason I wanted him. Nobody. He is the winner of this game, by the way. Being benched on heroic, putting up these numbers
good
against Faze. It's good advertising. I'm sure he will find a home very, very, very soon. Because I've been in practice with him, and he's an incredible player.
That's good. Nemiga is next. They got eliminated by G2. I'll say this, right? Robo's coming from Spirit Academy, taking over the IGL role. Brand new IGL's come in. Lear, we obviously knew from back in the Austin Major times where we were seeing a lot and hearing a lot from him. Chiron had crazy opening couple of maps, like really strong. Dropped off a bit of the final hurdle, like I guess ran out of steam. But I'll just say it's what I saw from Nemiga, it just made me think, there's a little something there between Khan's Orb, Chiron. Obviously, Chiron's Russian, but lives in Germany. He's lived in Germany forever, so his English is really good when you talk to him in interviews and stuff. But I think this Nemiga, they could be cooking a little bit with like the new young ex-Spirit Academy player coming into being IGL. So all I'll say is it made me actually look at this team again. And I haven't thought about them since the Austin Major.
Yeah. I think it's interesting to bring out a young IGL kind of shift from the old because who was it last time?
Lear.
We spoke about this. Yeah, Lear.
Yeah.
Who's been on the team for like ages.
They also dropped him at one point and then brought him back and then they've dropped him again. And it's Box, the coach, who's making all decisions, by the way. He's the one like deciding it all. So, yeah, it's okay. Next to get eliminated was GamerLegion. GamerLegion's game, like, they got Flammers coming back into the team. You got to remember, Snacks was never his IGL, as far as I'm aware, right? He was under, like, ZTR time, if my memory's correct on it, and obviously under Ash as well. Flammer still performed very well, but he had some frustrating camera moments. Blast just put loads of highlights of unhappy Flammers camera shots in there, because obviously he doesn't want to lose to people that were like, you know, his countrymen, his region, probably plays a lot against maybe on Face or something like that.
He actually was with Snacks for a while.
Oh, he was with Snacks for a while. How long?
I would say 1 or 2 months. Hard to see
so
on the
short amount of time before.
Yeah.
It's just you got the bar, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you had a bit of time with Snacks. But I mean, Flammer still performed well. I'm still really high on this move for GamerLegion. And losing to HOTU. HOTU can be a good team, man. HOTU can be a good team.
I mean, they are very much on the day or on a specific event kind of team.
A mood. Like, they're a mood team.
Yes,
100%.
yes.
Norbert said, by the way, when we did like the picks, he was like, to be honest, I'm not sure what's going to happen. Sometimes we're good, sometimes we're bad. And I'm like, well, you summed yourselves up perfectly. Like, you are very critically aware of yourselves. But yeah, on that day, they were good. GamerLegion took the L on that one. The Falcons 100 Thieves game, we can go into a little bit more detail on this, right? I will just say, no overreaction to it. It's just kind of crazy because when you watch that nuke, the opening nuke, you think Falcons all on boot camp, ready to start the season off strong. And you did think they are just going to destroy 100 Thieves.
But especially when 100 Thieves pick nuke against them and get absolutely demolished.
Just get battered from the beginning. But I think it was like a bit of taking your gas off a bit too early. And then, obviously, it's probably very hard for Falcons to be aware of everything that's happening within 100 Thieves because Gizmy's completely calling in a different way, right? Not anywhere near what Rain would have been doing. And then on this Anubis at the end, it's just very typically Falcons. I felt like it's like we're 9-3 up, we've got the win, starts to slip away, starts to not bounce back, lose some crazy, horrible rounds. Did you watch the clutch from Syrah at the end?
Yeah. The end clutch as well.
Like, I'll just say this. As someone who's not watched huge amounts of Syrah, his sharpness in that clutch, it was instant. He was lightning into it. It's just, you know, it's one of those clips where you watch it and you feel it. So Falcons let it slip away. It is going to happen every now and again, but it just got me more excited to see Falcons back on land because, you know, let them have a stumble at the beginning and then see how they bounce back.
Yeah. I mean, I think probably the biggest, I think I saw like a recap video on Reddit or something of all the rages from Falcons during that game, and they were not happy. And that's probably one of the things that they probably shifted a little bit of momentum towards 100 Thieves. In my book, but yeah, I wouldn't be too worried. I think there's two parts to this. One, underestimation of 100 Thieves, and Falcons just getting into the season. But it's going to be interesting to see both of these teams as the season moves forward, because I do have high hopes for 100 Thieves side as well.
But it also just shows you how random sometimes online CS is. Like 100 Thieves lost to Nip, beat Falcons in the same day. Or the next day or whatever it was. You know, that's just the way it goes. Aurora end up losing to Fokus. This game was great, by the way. Not to watch Aurora lose, but it's just a great game to watch because I like Cuban a lot. I'll sing his praises. But I was super intently watching how different this Aurora would be. And bro, you can see already in the very early parts that Kicksan's getting to put more of his ideas in. Ash is being able to work things out. Like when I was looking at the Turkish guys, right? They are now doing things they've never kind of done before, you know, like this structure, this team stuff, this way of looking at it. Kicksan said like Zontares is having input and talking about things when they're going through it. I don't know if that was happening before on Aurora, but I mean, everyone's having a voice, everyone's listening, everyone's going through it. And yeah, Aurora lost, but I mean, you played cash. It was a pretty good cash from the Aurora guys. It just went away at the end of it all. Focus have some pretty sharp individuals. Banjo, people keep talking about him. I can understand why. So yeah, it was a little bit of, it was an interesting game. I think it was one of the better games for the openings.
Yeah, but also it's the same kind of deal with Aurora that, I mean, this is massive.
It's
changes.
so big change.
Like
so
big changes. I don't think people understand, because I saw a lot of hate threads of Kicksan, like
it's every time
all
why
over, and it's just like, come on, guys. The guy has had a week to incorporate, you know, 3 Turkish players who haven't played, you know, on the individual, or has played with a different language for a long period of time.
Yep.
And someone from MOUZ with a new coach. Like, there's so many new ideas they have to put together and incorporate, yep. And it's just not going to be easy. I think you have to give them way more benefit of the doubt than I would have given like Falcons who changed to Kerrigan.
But they also qualified for the Star Ladder Star Series Fall 2026, which has Vitality, FURIA, Na'Vi, Aurora, MOUZ, Magic so far. Like, that is a stacked event, and they qualified for that. So, the same way. I know Voxic, by the way. Voxic's tweet, let me get it up. This was funny, because he hating online CS. And this is what I'm saying. Some players just hate online CS. He goes, what a shit day. Tons of shit timings. Couldn't hold always well my mental health with combo of bad individual, happy in the end. Thankfully, boys carried my ass. Fuck online qualifiers. I hate them so much. Thanks for the support, and see you in Barcelona at the main event. Bro, his tweet reads like an emotional, like his mental health's not well. Like, his tweet literally reads like that throughout all of it. And also, they were boot camping in Serbia. Serbia's not a great pace for ping, if I'm right, yeah? It's better than Turkey, but it's still not great.
I mean, it's okay. I don't think it's like...
Still in like the 40s, though? 40 to 50? A lot of people boot camp there.
Yeah, but I don't think there's an issue at all with the ping from the bootcamp places. I've been there a couple of times.
Okay.
I would never have put any percentage of like us losing to us being in Serbia.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair then. That's fair. I'm just wondering, like, for him to hate online this much, I know it's online CS, but I was trying to think, like, you sometimes play online from Turkey. That is horrendous to play on. Like, what?
I will say this: it's easier to all separately 5 be on your home PC than being in a boot camp room and playing, because it gets loud. The mics, you know, from practice to official aren't set up perfectly. It can become very, very chaotic. But why you go on boot camp is to fix stuff, to make sure that you can eat,
go
sleep,
for the new stuff as a team.
Counter-Strike all the time. So it's more efficient, but it's not ideal for online games.
Yeah. Okay, next eliminated was Sinners. I'm just happy Sinners got a map. I'll just be honest. I'm just happy Sinners got a map, man. They had been... Look, their last set of games was 2 best of 1 losses at the major, 2-0 by Tyloo. 2 best of 1 losses at XPL, 2-0 by Faze. Getting a map is confidence that this team needs at this point. For them, it's just going through hell right now.
I mean, you look at that HLTV match has passed 3 months.
It's horrible, isn't it?
It's just full red. It's full red, and there's not pretty numbers. Even a loss against FlyQuest 8 weeks ago in there.
Do you know what Modo told me it was, by the way? He said in the interview that, and then, by the way, this is the problem, because online broadcast, we're so short on time, you sometimes don't get my full interview, you get like the snippets they need to use. By the way, that's fine, production have to do that, right? We need to be on time, get the games running, but sometimes we miss some good bits, and Modo was saying like, he thinks a lot of it was down to mentality, because before, when they were the underdogs, they were going through it, it's obviously a classic story, right? But then they went into some events where they were so high on themselves that they actually believed they were like, you know, they believed so hard that they could do it, that then the individuals stopped doing what they do best, you know? He said, even when things were falling apart, we couldn't rely on a multi-kill because we were just making too many mistakes. So it went from this to like, oh no, and then it's mentality. So it's all about just their bounce back. That's it. And they've got a lot more online CS and different events to be playing at, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Gentlemates next. So Gentlemates, I thought they would put. Oh yeah, we've by the way, you've skipped like tons of our predictions.
I can tell you all the predictions if you want.
You just get back up to date on the predictions. So we both said
Astralis.
We were right.
We both said MOUZ against Nuclear Tigress. We
both
said
got
Alliance.
baited by Alliance. Yeah, that was a fail.
Wildcard won that one. You said Faze, I said Eyeballers.
Yep.
And Nemiga versus G2 both went G2. HOTU GamerLegion, you said HOTU, I said GamerLegion.
I said betting on Norbert the GOAT. Major champion, by the way.
100 Thieves versus Falcons. We both had Falcons. We both lost.
But you did say very possible they could lose it. Very possible. Yep.
Fokus versus Aurora. We both bet Aurora. Fokus did beat them in the end.
Yep.
And Sinners versus Foot. We both had Foot.
Gentlemates versus Pain. We both had Pain. And Gentlemates did lose. Gentlemates is in a weird spot, right? Crucial. Standing in. Not sure if they're going to be there. They are speaking English now. DJL said like it's full English communication, obviously. They lost their best player, man. They lost Martinez.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm not sure what the recovery is.
Yeah.
But also, Gentlemates might be cutting out of this as an organization, because I saw some news about the org wanting to go to Valorant and stuff more anyway, so.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to hate on Gentlemates, but it's not looking like a great team without Martinez in it.
Well, they did set him up so well, right? They played around him so much. They used him correctly. Like, but I mean, it's hard to replace him unless you're getting Sun Pappy back, which I'm not sure they can even afford. Like, the only way I see them being solved is Sunpius comes back to them with all his experience. But Sunpius probably has much higher expectations himself than going on to Gentlemates and going back with his Spanish boys, you know?
Yeah, but it's a pretty old team, all things considered, with David G being the youngest of 25. You have Southall 26. Yeah. Alex is 30. Mopo's 29. So it's a pretty old team in Counter-Strike.
What's the average? Average age is... Oh, it doesn't give you average age, so they don't have 5 players.
Yeah,
of course.
Exactly.
Never mind. All right, moving on. So OG Spirit, we both predicted Spirit, but boy, oh boy, Devilwalk. Adam B is Swedish donk. That's what I'm going to say.
Swedish donk.
Swedish donk. He was actually out-fragging everyone at one point. I think it was on the Ancient?
That clutch on Ancient when he flanked from A main.
Dude, he was very good. And by the way, they started off, I'll say this, people hate on Cadian so much, sometimes unreasonably. Cadian out-called Spirit in a lot of these rounds. Not on Cash. Cash, obviously OG thought maybe Spirit wouldn't be so ready for Cash or something, but Cash is an aimers map. I don't know why you would challenge Spirit at that point on this, right? Like, it's not a good look for you. But the Dust 2 got super interesting. I thought Spirit was going to claw their way back into it. It didn't happen. And then Ancient. I almost feel like, I don't want to be disrespectful to Spirit, but I feel like Cadian had the better calling. And if he just had some other players that could shoot back, like Prime Taps, I don't know, man. Maybe it was tired. It was very late. But like, I can't blame one player, but I was seeing some heavy whiffs from Prime Taps, man. And Prime Taps, at this point, I've known him since he was on Big Academy. Like, he's 25 now. He's had a lot of experience. He was on BC Game for a little bit. He's done his time on Sangar. Like, this was tough to watch. And, like, if just someone else helped Adam B, Spirit lose that. Spirit lose that 100%, man. I thought that was going to be another upset. So, I'll just say, even though OG lost it, they walk away with a lot of positives from that. More positives than negatives. Probably doesn't feel like that, but how 100%. I see the game.
I think OG for me has been a team that I haven't really
I'm not looking at.
Given up on them in some sense. Because, I mean, I was really hype on OG when they had Christian in the lineup, the Nikodos kind of assembly of it. And ever since KDN came into the roster, it's kind of been very, very slow progress for them. And, you know, it's almost looked worse at certain points during this roster. So for them to finally get a little bit of a good game, show up and play some of that good Counter-Strike that we know that the KDN has in him as a caller, when everything clicks and all the players know how quickly he wants things to be, then they can definitely do some damage.
Style.
Yeah.
I do wonder, though, with what you just said about KDM, is that possible in an international team like that right there? It would take so long, and it would take so much skill from some of the less, not less skilled players, but the players with the least experience, you know, to get to that level, to get to that synergy takes so much time.
I know what you mean. I mean, you definitely lose half a second in some of the calls that can be crucial in Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
So it's probably not the best style to go internationally, but I still think it's a fun style. It's a good style, and it's proactive. You are setting the pace yourself. You're not letting other people do it for you. I think that's just from a philosophical standpoint, I like a lot.
Yeah. 3D Max Magic, we both predicted Magic, and they should have won this game, by the way. They should have won it 2-0 on Ancient. 3D Max picked Cash, and it just looked like Magic was the better team by far. Again, 3D Max, by the way, 3D Max play Cash a very good way. People could look at the loss, but the style they're playing is not just the constant B hits. It's not just focus on like executing. Like, they're taking a bit of mid control. They're faking out some rounds, where a lot of teams are playing it so standard or almost like they have not really got a grip of the game. And then we come onto this Ancient, and 3D Max were down 8-4. It goes to OT. Kersey, I can't call it a life game because we haven't seen enough of Kersey with the rifle, but I'll say this isn't his usual game by any stretch of the imaginations, because Magic started to lose rounds. They couldn't get their way back into it. It felt like they were crumbling under the pressure. And it was Kersey just doing so much work, bro. Like, he was dominating. So once they threw that Ancient, then Magic's mentality didn't bounce back. Yeah. Like, not at all. Not at all.
And it's interesting to see like Kersey kind of being more of an entry in this 3D Max. From AWPer to entry it's an interesting transition with the rifle. But yeah, I mean 3D Max, man, what can I say? They're starting to become the new VP for me. I don't know where I have them. Any event.
It's all just a bit of randomness now. It's all a bit of randomness. We'll get into them in a little bit. Heroic after this. I think, what did we say for Heroic? We both said Heroic. And I did say this, though. I said we shouldn't doubt the MongolZ and we shouldn't doubt Mara. I'm pretty sure, by the way, I don't know. I don't trust this producer. I think I picked MongolZ. I don't trust this note. I'm going to say I picked. I don't think I would have picked.
I think I convinced you to pick Heroic.
You think that?
Yeah, I think you were very hesitant.
Because I was saying I can't doubt Mara after I doubted him with controllers and Cobra and you know, so because when I did my predictions for Blast, I said MongolZ because you weren't there. You weren't there to screw over.
I weren't there to poison your mind.
But obviously, Heroic did win the state ranked event. It looked pretty good for them. I'll just say this, bro. Darkmeister, he must be the love child of Olaf for whenever Olaf visited Mongolia at some point and doesn't know about this child existing anymore, because he was good, man. He was picking up the AWP at one point. He's dropping a rifle out there. By the way, sorry, Olaf, if you see this, you don't actually have a Mongolian love child. I know you have a whole family and everything at home before, but this guy, he was
Olaf Meister going through divorce.
No, don't say that. Don't ever say that. But I mean, the guy took your nickname, right? He's giving you some love for sure. Probably inspired by you, and he has inspiring gameplay. Him and Tikuak, as rookies, looked good. And by the way, Tikuak speaks great English, like really good English.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Oh, producer's messaging. Producer is messaging. He's giving
you the transcript of the episode. See, I don't want to doubt Mara, but I like what I'm seeing.
I've never doubted
Heroic.
you after you did it with controllers to the playoffs of Major C. So I have conflicting words in the previous episode anyway. So my heart, without Devilwalk's input, says MongolZ. I'll take the L on the prediction, whatever. I don't care. But this was a great game from the MongolZ. They lost out on the nuke pretty harshly. You started to worry then. They win cash. They picked it. And then they win Dust 2 in overtime with two rookies that have never gone through that experience before of a tier 1 event.
I mean, it's
for
a
Heroic,
great start.
For Heroic, I'm not too worried. You won an event already on LAN. So losing this online to MongolZ, when MongolZ can be hitting hard and sharp, like, this is fine. No problem at all.
I think for Heroic, it's more about getting Brolan out of IGL brain and more into the playmaker, the star that he can be. Because he's 24. It's not like he's lost the sauce. I think it's just like he's stuck in IGL mode and just needs to get out of there. We saw the same thing happen with the Twists, for example, when he went to Liquid. We never really saw him come back from that in Liquid until, recently when he joined Faze, he was kind of back from it. He let go of that IGL brain, and we saw like twice the player he was as IGL.
Yeah.
So I think with Brolan, they have a bright future, this Heroic.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. We both predicted Vitality to take down Liquid, especially considering everything we've seen from Liquid.
A lot of L's in this, man.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of upsets, man. I took some wins off choosing the upsets, like the HOTU one, but we were sucking a little bit on this. We were sucking. But that's the start of the season. That's the wild craziness. That's the beauty of Counter-Strike, people. Elige back under JT was enough to overthrow Vitality, who, I will say, it wasn't like they were blown out of the water because it was a 2-0, but it was like, where were certain players being ready? Oh,
what? I did prepare something. So I wanted to look at difference in T rounds.
Okay.
And just compare like two different events. I just wanted to quickly check, because my interpretation of Liquid in the past is they struggled with T sides. They had problems. They looked shaky. They didn't really click at all on T sides. So I looked back at CAC for Liquid, where they played 7 maps, and they gathered a total in those 7 maps, 30 T rounds with Shuei. This was against 3D Max, MongolZ, and Paravision. 2 best of 3s and 1 best of 1.
Yep.
In Blast Bounty...
We're still talking Vitality.
Oh, we are, yeah. That's true. But I still wanted to say this. I don't care. We can repeat
say it on the Liquid bit.
Yeah, but now we've started it. We might as well finish it. On Blast Bounty, 4 maps, 22 T rounds versus Vitality and G2. So 3 maps less.
JC effect.
Not that big of a difference in... I think that they would accumulate 8 rounds in 3 maps on T side.
Yeah, definitely. So it's not a huge difference in T rounds.
No, I think it is a big difference. I think it's like plus 2 T rounds per map almost.
You're comparing what, 4 maps versus how many did you say?
7.
Yeah, then that's a significant difference then.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a significant difference. Okay. Yes. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah. But for Vitality...
Yes. But you get baited into talking about Liquid because that's
the fun bit.
Yeah.
But the Vitality bit is just... It's online. They were all at home. They're not having the best of time, right? And they're going up against Liquid where they couldn't get ready for anything. I don't know. I was believing in a Zyru would be able to pop off and pull him back into the game or buy some time. But even when the games got a bit closer, Liquid just were able to handle it. So it's not what Vitality want. It's not the standard they hold themselves to, even online where they've always survived normally at these blast bounties, right? But their focus is EWC. That's it, especially for Vitality's organization.
I will say, for Vitality, it didn't click as much. They lost a lot of uncharacteristic advantages, I'd say. Especially on that Anubis. I felt like they had the control in a lot more rounds than they managed to win. But yeah, it's, for me, Vitality, Blast Bounty, it hasn't really been their tournament.
It's not for them. And I said, because they didn't win the major, then now it would be more important, and this would be the one they get. And it actually is the worst blast bounty they've had. That's what's crazy. Like, that's actually what's crazy. And the last of the really big upsets coming out here was FURIA. FURIA went up against another South American team, mainly from Brazil. Previously known as Sharks, now Dendele. By the way, Dendele didn't even have Kochi behind them. They had their analyst behind them. And I spoke to Kochi about this, and I'll just quote it exactly correctly so I don't put any misinformation out there. And he said, there are some events I'm giving D10S the chance to be behind the guys. I want to coach him to do the same as I do, being a real staff member with 2 coaches. He is very young, and he needs this kind of experience, which I think is great. And then they get probably one of the biggest wins of their career. Obviously, Kochi, by the way, just for people to know, like, he's so old school. We put his clip in a video last time, didn't we? He's 39 years old, from Portugal, forever been on Sharks. Now, should I say Dendele? But yeah, giving an opportunity is great.
But isn't Dendele like is it a full-time name switch, or is it?
Yes,
I thought it was like a promotional thing.
No, completely done. This is the whole thing. But
really?
FURIA, Molodoi was in Serbia, so he goes from Kazakhstan, Serbia. Yakinda at home, Yuri Fallen and Catastrophe in Malta. This was a tough showing, I would say, right? Because they got dominated on Anubis. They battled back a bit on Mirage. Cash is the first time they're playing it, right? Molodoi probably never had an official on Cash ever. The rest of them probably should have. But again, I'm not so worried about it. Dendele probably wanted this win so much, man. It's like the biggest win of their careers. This is like the biggest meaning for them. And FURIA, they always look, bro, they nearly lost a foot last time in a bounty as well. They always look rusty in these online games. They are not an online team at all. Not at all.
No, not at all. And usually takes them a little bit to kind of get back into the season. I mean, we haven't really seen the best out of FURIA for a while. But still, you know, they got second place at the major. But I feel like they're more of a end of the season kind of team rather than someone that sprouts up early.
Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. I'd agree with that. Then we go into round 2. So this is when we're getting to our 16th to 9th place teams that also didn't make it to the finals. And Liquid, they strike again against G2. Now G2, I will say this. Wrinkle obviously is new to the team, but yeah, they had to go over a lot of stuff with him. They were all on boot camp. They're trying to get ready early with it. But this was quite a significant drop-off, more than what I was expecting. And I think it's just a bit of rust for some of their individuals coming in as well, right? If I can remember correctly, like, I don't think I've seen a bad Heavy God performance like this in a long time.
Unfortunate interview that was dropped on Reddit and everywhere around where it's like, yeah, I think I bring more firepower. And then, you know, the first game he had, he was like bottom of the list.
Yeah.
People started memeing a little bit about that as well.
They always will.
But
he's got to stay headstrong in these situations, though. If you're going to make these comments and these quotes, yeah, you're going to have to stay headstrong through it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky... I don't really know how to rate this from G2. because they got dominated by Liquid. Like, they got absolutely dominated.
Yep. And it's all right. They had their one online game. And by the way, this is where it's different. They didn't lose the first online game. They survived it. And then you've had more time on boot camp, a few more days after they played the previous game, right? What's the days difference between these games? So this was played on the 25th and the one before was 22nd. So you had some more time to get ready for it, and be in there. This was just a bit of a shock to the system for them. But I will say this. I still believe in the wrinkle move. I know there's a lot of doubters, but I still do personally believe in it. I think they should be fine. So I'm not too worried about it.
Oh, there'll still be... I mean, the question is if they're going to be able to make a push even further than they have with this Wrinkle versus Sampayas.
Yeah.
I'm 50-50. I still think Wrinkle is a great player, but do I think it's enough of an upgrade to make that push? I'm hesitant.
Yeah. And then this is another one where the online game does matter. And there's no excuse for either team. NIP versus Pain. Pain 2-0 NIP. Both Pain and NIP could have picked Nuke in this series. Ninjas get the choice first, right? So they just pick it. They believe they're better on it. Bro, 11-1 dominated on your T side. Like you 11 CT rounds for Pain. Pain probably not even used to starting on the CT side. VSM was putting up some crazy numbers, like way better than he was ever doing. And I think Bardolph mentioned it during the cast, like, VSM's good online. Definitely good online. But the one who was the main key factor for me was Safe. An ace on one of the rounds with AWP, super stylish. This was the first time in any of the Pain games where I've seen that Safe actually is a viable replacement for NQZ. Because he wasn't looking like this in the other games. And NIP, like, I was starting to enjoy Stown on the AWP. I thought it wasn't too bad, but this is where there was a big difference between him and Safe. There was like uncomfortability. I don't know what it is about Nip, man. They were playing a lot of online games, so I'll give them that. Like, they were playing at Star Series at the same time. They had 1, 2, 3, 4 games at that point. They're all playing from home and online.
Personally, I just don't like them on Nuke.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna look back now a little bit. They didn't play Nuke, for example, against Heroic. Oh, they did. Yes, they picked it. Yeah. But big difference.
On a streak, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row until that loss to Pain.
Yeah. But I feel like this happens sometimes with NIP when I watch them. They don't get anything going on their T side, which obviously can happen to any team. But if you're going to have Nuke as your main pick, I don't know. I think it's tough. You have to be ready on your T side, and I've praised them in the past where they've been so good on their prep work and can usually get a good start. But on Nuke, it seems like, it's not that good.
And it's still one of these things where, like, Nip's excuse doesn't work because they're playing so much online. They've come back to practice to be ready for this, I was talking to Stown about the fact that, like, it's so different from what he's used to in terms of being ready for Counter-Strike and playing so many games, maybe 2-3 games in a day, depending on the tournament, Consistency is definitely hard to find. But I think this is still a worrying sign the way they lost. Because Pain should be a team they can match up against.
Yeah, and I mean, NIP for me is like, Stavn is having great games, but I feel like Kaspersky has kind of dropped off a little bit. Obviously, a bright thing within.
Dude, we were so high on him before.
Yeah,
so high on him.
And Noti, he actually looks pretty good. He looks like a really, really good addition. But the question I have is, has it removed some of that freedom from Kaspersky, some confidence from him that's now, he's gone through so many different players, this NIP squad. Feels like they've changed every couple of months, and I understand it's hard to find your consistency as a player when you're constantly moved around and, you're trying to fit the puzzle again as a team.
The story of NIP.
I mean, NIP can be really good, but then you need Kaspersky to be performing at a really high level.
Definitely. Definitely. Next to be eliminated was Foot. So they took down Sinners. It's the way they lost to 3D Max. So just to let you know, they are not a particularly good Dust 2 team. X-Cloud's come in, so they have made the one player change, but we were all pretty enjoying the X-Cloud move. Like, it's a positive for the whole team. Ancient is their tried and tested pick, but they didn't show up. And X-Cloud admitted on like the exit interview that sometimes he wasn't understanding like the communication in the round or exactly what to do. Like, it's obviously new voices and things going in there. So respect to him for saying that, because he also wants to be a vocal player within the team. They've just done their first season, the beginning of this year, right? The first 6 months in Tier 1. So it's a bit of like going back to online again. But you did already beat Sinners, and I don't know, I just expected better from them against the 3D Max, you know? Like, this is a team you're far above, and you're still a very young, playing a lot of Face It, online, grinding out team. Playing from home, by the way, not on boot camp or anything as well. I think it was only X-Cloud who was in the Foot offices in Turkey. But what that also means is he's playing with not very good ping, you know, not desirable ping. So not a massive worry for Foot, but not the start they would have wanted. And we'll see how it goes for them.
Yeah, I mean, I can only agree. I expected them to be, if any of the kind of Tier 1 teams would perform really, really stable, it would be Foot, just because of the high individual skill, hungry team. Like, the players are so young, they're grinding a lot.
Yeah.
This was for me a bit of a shocker. I'll be honest. I did not expect them to struggle through this online portion at all.
Yeah, that's why they're different from some of the other teams we're talking about. Next to be eliminated was Wildcard. They got 2-0'd by MongolZ. So Wildcard's run here was like a bit of a surprise win against Alliance into not really standing a chance against MongolZ and the rookies showing up against them. I just think for Wildcard, ignoring my hatred for the organization, the players themselves will just be disappointed by this because they probably known that they could have showed up better, you know? Like, this was not the level that they would normally be playing. They like literally just 2 months ago won the BC Game Master Championship, you know?
Yeah, but it is against a well-playing MongolZ. I can't really say that I'm disappointed in Wildcard. I was surprised they got the win in the first place to then go up against MongolZ. And I mean, they didn't get completely crushed. They still had chances to recuperate some of this in the game. So I wouldn't be super sad if I was Wildcard. Obviously, it's important for them with the consideration of where they are in the rankings to kickstart their season. But overall, I mean, you look at the event and you look at what they actually gained. They gained 73 points, 3 VRS placings. That's pretty good for a first event, even if it's just winning against Alliance. But Alliance are very high up on the VRS.
Wildcard's really low though, right? They're 36,
Yeah, 36 and Alliance 17.
Mm-hmm.
So still, you know, a good, decent climb from best of 3 against Alliance. And it's no shame in losing to a MongolZ.
No, definitely not. Then Dendele find themselves getting eliminated next. They go up against Faze, and the thing is, they selected Faze. I will just say this. I have no information, but I'm guessing Dendele didn't realize that the team you choose also will face like the times, because the times, for people who don't understand, are preset. So if you pick this team, they are playing this day at this time. So Dendele, the night before, the last late game, like 1 a.m. finish, they beat FURIA. Yeah? Then they play the first game of the very next day against Faze. And, bro, I did the interview with Koala. They were tired. They were certainly struggling. They said, we still have energy, like it's an important game. Like, they were obviously trying to tell me on the interview and give me the positives and hype themselves up a little bit from it. But they got dumpstered on Nuke 13-2. Then they somehow, I didn't expect it, by the way, they won Mirage after being dominated by FURIA. But then they go into Cash, which again is a decider, same as it was against FURIA. But trust me, we saw Cash from Faze at XPL, getting the wrong way around, the Chinese event, not ESL's one. And yeah, Jacob was farming. Jacob was farming from start to finish. It's a hard one for Dendele. It's a learning curve for sure. They want to take on some of the big dogs. They might have thought it was possible, but it's still a run to be proud of for a team like them at this point. 100%. You know?
I mean, they're one of the bigger winners of the event.
Yeah.
You know, kind of same position as Wildcard in some sense. They got 65 points and 5 placings on VRS. Huge for them.
Yeah. Oh, this next one, I can't wait. This is what I've been waiting for. So, HOTU get eliminated by Astralis. Just tell me what you think of this. HOTU, in Star Ladder Star Series, they took down Astralis 2-0, both in overtime. Yeah? And then they got the choice to select Astralis. So they took Astralis again for Blast Bounty, and then they lose it, and they start off by losing cash 13-1. Do you think they made the mistake by going for the rematch of the game they won?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely two parts of it. They know they can beat them. Yeah. They've proven they can beat them. But it always seems to be in Counter-Strike that when you beat someone, you then give them the rematch, you're at a huge disadvantage, especially if it's a close series. Yeah. And obviously now we have a maps, new... bro. Yeah. And... I mean, picking cash and getting one round on your first half is probably where the mistake was. And
they only won it 16-14 last time, so it was so close. It was 16-14, 16-13 the previous time, and then you go into this, and you must be feeling, okay, we'll learn from this, we'll be better, we're getting a few more games in our officials for this, you know? And then poor HOTU didn't qualify for anything, so they didn't qualify for Blast, and they didn't qualify for Star Ladder either. So, like, it was a rough couple of days for them, man. Sad couple of days. Norbert's still my GOAT, but I mean, it's tough when there was a moment back at, it was ESL Pro League this time, where we were looking at this team and thinking, okay, kind of interesting, you know? Mo, major champion, coaching them. Norbert, major champion on the team. But yeah, this was a tough one for him. It's still a learning curve for them. And how much money did they get for that? Let's have a look. 15,000 prize money, 26,250 for the club. It's a pretty good outing for HOTU in general, right, considering everything and where they're at.
But it is an interesting thing with cash, because obviously there's going to be professional players that has played it, that has gone through the theory, that, you know, at least know the foundation of cash as a competitive map. And there's going to be young players that come into Counter-Strike who's never set foot on the map. It's like an Anubis for everyone, you know, where they have to kind of grind that knowledge up and understand it a little bit more, how rotations work and, you know, what's important, what positions you should take. So that's what makes Cash kind of a weird map as it's returned now, right?
Yeah. A lot of learnings for some of these players, that's for sure. And also some learnings for Fokus. They obviously had that good win over Aurora. Then they get the enjoyment of trying to take down MOUZ. I would say, bit of a fight on there, right? They believed in their dust too after what they did to Aurora. And they have this nice aggression they like to throw in there on the CT side. They're taking a lot of space away from teams on the map. But if you're going up against the MOUZ, I'll say this. Aurora might get caught on it, especially as a team that's like newer. But MOUZ don't play a style, even with newer players, that they're going to get caught off by it. Like, it's not going to be something that I'm worried about for MOUZ, you know? If they know what to expect, Cyclone's definitely making a game plan. They got Zipnix as their assistant coach. Xershin is proving to be a good in-game leader. So they got their job done. And for Fokus, it's a good test for them, impressive. You know? Still a good run. Still something to be happy with in their development. And it's just... They're 42nd on the VRS right now, right? They're going to be in online territory for most of the season. And depending on what tier 2 lands they go to, Singapore's probably still quite a far reach from them. So it's going to be a big grind for them this season. This is just a very beginning start of it all to kind of see where they're at with Poddy and a new player coming in.
Yeah.
And last but not least... Oh, sorry, you got anything on Fokus?
No,
you were a bit slow with your hungover brain going into this, mate.
You've got to be faster. I'm sorry.
Wake up, switch on. We're 1 hour, 36 minutes into this bitch. All right, the next one. Boy, 100 Thieves almost did it again. Imagine if you took down Falcons and Spirit to go through. It was looking like it would be a great game, you know? Anubis, super close. Definitely a chance, by the way, that 100 Thieves could have took that. I think was it the T side? They started off like a bit strong. Yeah, they got 4 in a row on the T side. Then the Donk effect starts to happen, right? You will just see Donk was I remember Donk was on T side. Donk was on B main. He kills one player who's like close right, opposite side to jail, wants to push out. Then Device does like the right move to go for the peak then, right? To get the refrag with the orb. Donk put already, like, no sound was made from Device. And Donk's like, I know he will do this. And it was just insta-dead. And that's what, Device is probably thinking, only him, that this is possible. Because, dude, it was, and that's when I realized
any other player, you're full tilt, but there's Donk.
Yeah, but...
Fair enough.
At that point, I went, nah, 100 Thieves aren't winning this. And then, the Mirage shocked me. There was no way, with Donk playing that sharp, that I thought that they would have a chance. And even, like, Donk could not bail them out of it. So, maybe it was preparation, maybe it was knowledge, maybe it was belief. But this is when the series gets really weird, because then it's 13-0. Like, I don't know, Rain's probably not had that many 13-0s in his career. I don't have any idea. That's just me throwing this out there. Device, I'm not sure about either. But, like, that is tough, man. Like, you awoke the beast, and Donk dropped a 2.84 rating. 2.84. And then 100 Thieves went, yeah, we can't handle that. Like, 0 rounds when you are used to playing online. And you are, like, the fact that you gave us that Mirage to then get 13-0'd was sad. Definitely very sad.
Very anticlimactic. Everyone going into it expecting, okay, they could do it, and then Donk happened. But that's why he's the best player in the world. That's why, he's just outlandish. He's alien in some way.
So very special. So very special.
Very interesting run from 100 Thieves. I think,
it's promising.
Even at the start of the year, I always thought that this part of the season is, this is where they're building towards, the second major of the year.
Yep.
Everything was pointing towards that. I think now they have kind of a complete team where I don't see them making any more changes throughout the year. I think they're very, very set in this team can make the major. And I think they've showed in this tournament that they have that capacity. They have what it takes to make it. They just need to grind the lands, grind the points. And I'm pretty certain we will see 100 Thieves at the Singapore Major.
Yeah. I would agree with that from what we're seeing so far. And the fact they've got Messioso to help them with the guiding on the VRS and how to grind successfully throughout it. But I will say this. 22nd of this month, they lose to NIP. Same day afterwards, they beat Falcons. No, same day, sorry. They beat Falcons. Then, the very next day, they lose to Nuclear Tigress. And then you almost take down Spirit a couple of days later. What a roller coaster that was for them on this online craziness. And they are playing from boot camp the whole time, by the way. Like, they're in a good position to do it. So I'm, just going to give him some time. It's Gizmy's first outing with him. But I mean, that was a close moment in there. Now, Blast Bounty 2026 Season 2 Finals. That's what we're going to be looking at now. Obviously, we do not know the matchups yet. It's impossible to know the matchups other than probably Liquid, because they pick last. They're going to get Spirit. So what we can do, Devilwalk, first of all, is our Poly Market moment for today. So let's take a look on Poly Market. And I think we're just going to choose the one that makes the most sense, right? Who has the best chance of winning for the Blast Bounty, right? That would make sense.
That would make a lot of sense.
We'll go for this one because this one's the one where people are starting to believe. I know at one point people were saying like, 100 Thieves could win the whole thing. Yeah. So there's a couple of markets in here right now. There's a will Spirit win Blast Bounty 2026 Season 2? 48% say yes right now. Yeah. So 48% of predictions. Other teams that are in there for Blast Bounty 2026 Season 2 winner, we've got 48% for Spirit, 15.8% MOUZ, 11.3% Liquid, 9.2% on Faze, 8% Mongols, 5% Pain, 5% Astralis, 5% 3D Max. Oh, the Mongols one. Mongols aren't ready for a best of 5 when they get to the final, though.
Do you doubt Mara?
I'm not doubting Mara, but if he went up against Spirit in a best of 5, I am doubting Mara.
Okay.
Yeah, that can make sense. But look at this. Spirit is the only team here, and Pain, sorry. Oh, no, okay. Astralis, Pain, and Spirit are the only teams without changes. But you're never going to put Pain or Astralis as a team that could win. Yeah? Like, that's just so unlikely. It's so far away from what could happen.
I agree.
Then 3D Max, they had a Kersey. Mongols added 2 rookies, 17 and 18 years old. Faze have added Jaboan. Liquid have added JT and Jorko. MOUZ have added PR, and Zelix is still relatively new. So, like, Spirit in the prediction is the clear favorite and the bet. So I want to do this with you. Who could be the second most likely to make it through? Because what we'll do at this point also, we'll talk a bit about...
or like how to win it?
To win it, who could be the second most likely to win it?
I would probably bet on Liquid. I think...
But they are probably going to play Spirit in the first round. Because they are the last team that gets to choose. They pick the 4th opponent. So Pain picks first, then Faze, then 3D Max, and then Liquid. So Liquid's probably just going to be given Spirit, right?
That is true. If it wasn't the case, I would have probably put my money on Liquid. I think they look great. The players look sharp. I don't think necessarily even that Spirit is automatically going to win against Liquid. I think Liquid has proven that they are dangerous. They are very hard to scout at the moment. It really looks like they have something good going, and that this change has elevated them to a new level. But I mean, other than that, I would probably say MOUZ.
Okay, so I'm making some predictions here.
I think Faze and MongolZ, they're a bit too early in the process to go into, as you mentioned, a best of 5 final. I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, Liquid is very, very new as well. Surgeon, new IGL, but he's been for a while now.
And performed and fragged very well doing it.
Yeah. For me, it's... I mean... it's MOUZ, probably second favorite, but I'd still put Liquid as my third favorite, even though if they face Spirit. Because at the end of the day, if they're going to beat them, it has to be, I think they have a good chance if they beat them, right? I think they're massive favorites then. They take over that favoritism.
So I think, by the way, that it could be MongolZ as the most likely. Just because of how this is going to work. So I'm going to go through with how people pick. I think Pain picks Astralis because Astralis looks like the weakest team here. Yeah?
Yeah.
Faze then pick MongolZ because Faze are thinking they're 2 rookies, we're experienced on land, these guys are not. Yeah? That means 3D Max would pick MOUZ because you're not going to pick Spirit, and Liquid just gets Spirit. Yeah? Are you with me?
I'm with you. I understand
how you think. Who do you think wins out of Pain and Astralis?
Pain and Astralis?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd probably pick Pain, but I think it's a 50-50 game.
Okay. I'm going to take Astralis. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, you take Pain. EW, Pain. Me, Astralis. Faze MongolZ. I'm taking MongolZ.
All right, I'll I'll pick MongolZ as well.
Okay. 3D Max MOUZ. Both MOUZ, I'm guessing.
MOUZ, yeah.
Yep. And Liquid Spirit. Go on. What do you want to say? I'll let you go first.
I'm picking Spirit.
Yeah. Okay,
there's no way I'm not picking Spirit, but I don't think it's as one-sided as one might think.
So that leaves us then with Pain or Astralis, if we're right. MongolZ, MOUZ, and Spirit. Now, Pain or Astralis would then be the first ones to pick in that order. Yeah?
Okay.
They would probably pick MongolZ and try again and go at MongolZ and probably lose to MongolZ. And then MOUZ will play Spirit and Spirit will probably beat MOUZ. And then we get Spirit MongolZ final. But yeah. I will say this, MongolZ won't have complete confidence to play 5 maps and 2 rookies going up against Spirit. You know, like that's going to be so hard to ask of them.
I think MongolZ's chance of winning the event are extremely low if Spirit wins against Liquid.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously we could be wrong at any point of this and then it would all go completely the other side. Do you know what's crazy as well with this Blast Bounty? I was just reading this, right? So, Blast Bounty has only one top 10 team. Because MOUZ is 11th. Spirit is the only one. Now, if you do VRS ranking, VRS ranking as of today, MOUZ are in there. They're 8th. But it's still only Spirit and MOUZ. The next closest is MongolZ and Faze, 14 and 15. I don't even know if this counts as an MVP event. This might not even have an MVP now.
Probably not.
I need to check, but it might not.
You might have an MVP in the online qualifier.
Well, that's obviously donk anyway. But yeah. So let's just go a quick look at these teams. 3D Max, they impressed. Yeah? Because it wasn't only that they managed to take the win against Foot, but obviously they beat Magic in a way where Magic almost had the game. So they look better, and this is so important for them on VRS. They're 31st right now. Yeah? So they need points. This was a team that was once almost not guaranteed, but they could make playoffs of like the PGL events, and they could be close to making playoffs of the bigger LAN events. And now they're so far away from it. But Masuta's performing a bit better. We saw some moments from Kersey. I think it's about them just getting on the same page, and all the input from MBK, who's assistance coach, and Wazink now needs to come together with Maka also taking back over the one thing we have to look at here, respectfully, is they have gone through so much change in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And now it's about it coming together. But this is where it's still going to be hard because their first game is going to be ridiculously tough anyway. But I mean, this is important for them, right, to go through this.
Yeah, I mean, they need to get those points. They're in a terrible position compared to where they were, right? So they need to bounce back and probably need to do it pretty quickly. Because, I mean, they started off the year of 2026 in 14th place in the VRS, and they've dropped down. They dropped down to 34, and now they've started to creep up a little bit after this.
I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah, it's been
when you say it like that. Sometimes, like, because I just think about where it's gone, but it's that amount of time and the drop off as well. It's crazy. Yeah. So it's an uphill battle for them, but just making it to this land is super important for them in current form and current situation. Then Liquid, my oh my, for Liquid, this doesn't look like the same team. I know it's just changing 2 players, but Elysia's playing better, MOUZ is playing better, Naf's still holding his own, JT's calling well. You gave your amazing stat that they almost had the same amount of T rounds across 4 maps as they did across 7 with Shuhei, which is crazy numbers when you put it down in that perspective. And by the way, this Jorko kid, 17 years old, gave a great interview. Yeah. I definitely was talking positive about him. And also on the cameras, he's clapping. By the way, we went on his Instagram. I was doing a bit of stalking. This sounds weird because I'm saying stalking as, I'm not going to say that. But he's 17. So I went on his Instagram just to see like, what's his background? He's got a lot of pictures with like, let's look. Scroll. So there's a picture of him and Brokey. There's a picture of him and Simple. There's a picture of him and the old Fokus team. You know, like, he's a fan of the game. And I love that. He's someone who's enjoying the game. And he's really happy. Like, you've just taken down Vitality and performed well. You just took down G2 and performed well. You're going to your first big, like, I guess it still counts as S-tier LAN, right? So he's in the right headspace. He's in the right mood. He's going to Elige a bit more, he said in the interview, than other players for, like, you know, getting advice and stuff, which is good to get advice from John with all his experience. So this is super positive, man. All things looking good for them.
I think it's a super interesting team now. And I mean, this is the changes that Liquid has needed for quite a while. Really, really liking it. And I just hope to see Liquid back on, you know, where they belong. I think this team has that in them.
Next is Pain, Pain was, bro, they didn't even win the qualifier to go to Blast Porto. They lost to Sharks, who are now Dendele. Then they went to Stake Ranked and went out last place, and now they're back in a LAN playoffs. 29th in VRS right now. It was looking like doom and gloom. I'm not going to say it's fixed or better now. You only beat Gentlemates and NIP. They're not like super top tier teams, right? But if Safe can perform the way he has been on a consistent basis, it could make this team interesting.
Yeah, I think BSM and Safe, if they pick up a little bit of the fragging department, they can definitely do damage. They are one of the weaker teams that has qualified, for sure. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how well they do, because they usually tend to, I mean, they tend to make a lot of lineup changes. Now at least they've stuck with
position and role changes.
Yeah, so I hope they give this team a chance. And this is like the first time as well where Safe has actually had a little bit of some time to understand what's going on in the team, because he just joined as kind of a stand-in when NQC left middle of a season, hadn't had, you know, time to go through all the theory. So I hope that this gives them the chance for everyone to improve a little bit better, and that for them to progress as well as a team, having some stability in their lineup. And I hope they don't make changes after like 2 months in the middle of the season. Stick with what you got. Make sure that they are the ones progressing, and don't reset the project again.
And also, I do want to see, considering they've given more good positions and opportunity, not on all maps, but on some for Snow.
Yeah.
I know he's still young. I know it probably cost him a lot of money, right? But we've never seen him consistently stay at the heights that is expected of him. And they're obviously keeping him. They're obviously believing in him. But it has to start delivering soon, you know? He must know this, that like sometimes it's not good enough for what he's been given from the trust and support and the resources in the game that he's given. We need to see a bit better from him as well, because he can't just be scapegoated the whole time. You know, he can't be like, oh, he's young still. Oh, he's bringing the energy. Like, there was players that tried to help him.
They have so much instability in the lineup. Like, for a young guy to...
But mate, he's been on the team for so long. Like, he joined May 2024, and he's been playing Tier 1 almost the whole time.
And how many teammates has he had?
Probably so many. Let's have a look. All time. So since Snow joined, Davideus, Demo, but that was just one event. DGT,
Lux, Chaos,
BSM, Pidge, Lux, Chaos,
NQC, Davideus, Demo, DGT, VSM, Pariah.
Yeah.
Is it more?
No.
Bigger Sarah, of course.
Oh yeah, bigger. That's it. But that's it then. But it has been a lot of just chopping and changing, right? Yeah. And now he needs to be able to deliver soon.
Agreed.
Because you know the thing is, we were sold this very hyped up player, this promising talent from Brazil. He was part of the Fallen academy and got all this experience. He's a great. By the way, he's so lovely as well. So good guy. So nice person. Great on interviews. Positive as well. But, I mean, even with all these changes, even with the role changes, even everything that's being asked of him, you do need to see some more of him, you know? You have to. Yeah, absolutely have to. Astralis, They beat Nemesis, they beat HOTU. All times it was 3 maps. They actually ended up playing. So they started on boot camp, but then they went back home. I think they played the HOTU game online from home. And now they'll be going to Malta. They secured their spot. But with the teams that are there, this is going to be very hard for them. It's going to be punching way above what they've been used to recently. And let's see if Ursula and Neo have been able to work any magic in very early days. I think that's my view on it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's interesting Neo is in there. I think it's a good team for him to kind of showcase that, community critique has been wrong about him. Because I do believe he's a good coach. I do believe he will bring impact. And, qualifying for this event is a good first step. But there's some instabilities and worries I have about Astralis in the way of, can they show up every single day? Can they perform every single day? Because we've seen them very, very up and down from day to day. And I just hope to see a different version of Astralis where I can see them all perform all the time. Then they can be dangerous. Me an
interesting thing though. Hooksy told me that he now hopes he can be less of the bad cop in the team now. Because before with Rugger, he was always the bad cop. He was always saying the bad stuff all the time. And he's hoping that now he can focus on just leading and being more nicer with the team. And Neo and the rest of the staff be able to take over some of the harder conversations, which will be able to alleviate him from some things, which can help him. Because some of those interviews he gave at the end of this last season.
He was full tilt.
So negative.
He never left that bad cop state.
No, bro. He was stuck in it. Even when they dragged him out for the interview, it was like, oh. And this obviously doesn't breed too much of a nice environment. A team that seems to have a really nice environment is Faze with NKJ coaching them. Twist was saying how NKJ is helping bring a lot more of that structure to it. When I also asked NKJ on interview about this thing with Nature, because if you go on Faze's profile, it just says Frozen, Twist, Jacob, Jaboan. We don't have a fifth yet. Yeah, Brokey's there, but he's not in the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they have 4 players. They don't have a fifth officially, And Nature's now on his 5th event for the team. He just keeps coming up, keeps turning up. But they said there'll be some announcements soon. So I guess maybe some contract work or something that's being done. Jaboan is so good. He makes some misses. He takes some risky plays. He will get punished for some mistakes. But I really like him. Jacob played well online. And NKJ even said, it's about Jacob now being comfortable with the new roles and positions, and how he wants to play. But he's getting to the point where he's had enough time now. And he has to start delivering. Because
I think he started to deliver. I think he looks a lot better and a lot more consistent in the last couple of games that I've seen.
I'm not going to say the consistency's there yet.
I mean, okay. We can take a look at... I'm just going to judge from this season. I think XSC is a bit different, but if you look at both the Eyeballer game and Dendele, he was the top fragger. He was the one with the impact. He really stood out as someone who's, gone from a kid thinking he is going to get kicked to stepping up and delivering on the server in the way that Faze needs him to.
But it's only online games.
Only online game, yes. But it's a good
LAN has been a struggle.
Step for him, who has been struggling to find the confidence ever since Kerrigan left, obviously, to now. I think he can be a lot better this time around on LAN. And this time around on Faze, he can be a carry. Because he has that skill. He has insane mechanical
The mechanics, yes. The mechanics, yes. Mentally is where I'm looking at. And I don't know if Faze have a performance coach. I think they do. I think I've seen him a couple of times now. But if we can change his mentally a bit and get him working with NKJ solidly, then I'll start to believe. But he is still a question mark for me. All right, MongolZ. Amara Magic. That's what this is. I don't know. I'm going to check quickly what the ratings of both new players were for the event. But Tikuak speaks really good English for a 17-year-old Mongolian guy. Tikuak finished with a 1.09 rating. Meister finished with a 1.11 rating. Okay, it's just two online games. You only play Heroic and Wildcard. But Tikawak said in the interview, like, they didn't even expect to make it here, for their first event. But he's definitely ready for the first big LAN challenge and what they can deliver. 910 also had a good showing. I think probably 910 was the highest rated, I would assume. Just a notice. No. Yeah, he was 1.33, highest rated of the team.
Really?
Yeah, 1.33. No other Mongol player was even close.
Oh, yes.
The rest of them kind of shared it.
Yes.
Yeah. So 910 was delivering. By the way, they still did this, which just, I don't know, it does kind of tilt me. They came to Serbia to boot camp like 3 days before the event. So they're still not coming back early to even get ready with the young guys. They're just doing it their way. I understand they want to stay in Mongolia and stuff, but I mean, come on, guys. Get on the grind. Get back to that mentality. I know Darkmeister and Tukrak definitely want to grind. I'm sure they want to get fully into it all, But I do like them as a dark horse of this tournament. And Mara is just great at what he does.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely a surprise to have made it to the event for me. I think there's a lot of work putting in 2 new guys with 0 experience on this level. I think they look good. I think they look refreshed. I hope they can build on it. I'm still not, it's not that I see the old Mongols back, but I see there's definitely a light at the end of the tunnel. They can pull through this and they can improve. And I think this is what they needed. They needed a change of like resetting with 2 new guys and kind of starting the team over, having a different mentality, changing the whole atmosphere around them. Because I think it makes the other teammates also reset. Okay, we have 2 new players. This is a start over, and treat it as such. Yeah. So I think they could be an interesting team this season. And definitely for this tournament, because there's a lot of teams that are in turbulence. Them included.
A lot of teams doubting Mara and these rookies thinking they can swing at them and take the hits,
Even Banks doubted Mara.
I was persuaded. I had this evil thing in my ear called Devilwalk trying to convince me of it. All right, last 2 teams. We've got MOUZ. MOUZ beat Nuclear Tiger Rares and Fokus, both 2-0. Torzi, by the way, he had a 2.03 KD, 1.48 rating. Obviously, he's an AWP, he doesn't get as much as the rating and how this works, the rating 3.0. But Torzi being on that level, even though it's online, is still really positive. And they were playing from that boot camp in Hamburg, right? So they had fans in there. People could see their games the whole time. But great showing from them. Very positive. I should have looked at this. Quick have a look at PR, how he did. PR was not the lowest rated, it was ZX, but 1.10 rating for PR. Spinks, Xertion doing very well as good. So I just think they're going to struggle depending on who they face in that second round, but it should be good for the first round.
Yeah, I think they look like a really consistent team, even though like they have signs of that consistency with Cyclone system. The people they brought in seem used to it to some degree. So I have no doubts MOUZ can do very well this tournament. Yeah. Obviously, the bracket is like everything.
Yeah, and how it works with bounty. Yeah. I'm just gonna look at this, right? Donk is 19, yeah. Donk is 19. There is a 10-year gap between Donk and American Donk Elige. But Elige's numbers aren't too far away. Elige is a 1.49. Donk is a 1.55. I'll say this though, right? There's still some little problems they showed online, but I wasn't worried about what Spirit placed, even if they played 3 maps against both OG and 100 Thieves. Donk is looking sharp and in form. He's also broken his own record for face at Elo at the moment. They're trying to count if he's going to break MOUZ's record as well. But yeah, he's on the grind. He's fully locked in for the season already. It's more Donk things in there. I think for the rest of Spirit, still seems like just all dependent on the map and how things are going, on who else can join that scoreboard. Shiro is consistent. Some moments Tanir has that's really good, some not so good, but it's working as they intended to work, More utility being used for Donk, more setups being put in there. So it's not too bad. They are the clear
huge favorites in this. Like, Yeah, I mean, we went through the poly market even, and it was like 50%, 48% or something on Spirit.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty fair. I think it's a very, very likely chance that we see Spirit coming out as the winners of this event, especially even if the other teammates are struggling.
How many
with
bounties
Donk
would
in
they
that
have won?
form, Donk in
This
that
would be
form,
their
they
third.
can win any event.
So they won both in 2025. They didn't win the first one because Paravision took it this year, so they could win a third Blast Bounty.
Yep.
They could win a third Blast Bounty. But there you go. There's our review of everything Blast Bounty that we've seen across all of it. There's the other bit of news in here that Liquid need to play on day one and lose their game to not get forfeit loss at stake. Flashy actually put a statement out, so I'll just read it. He says, schedule update. We were aware there could be a clash with the two tournaments, but participating in Blast was our only chance to try to secure some invites on the 3rd of August. Yeah. We will likely play against the number 1 or number 2 seed in Malta, which means we should play on the 30th. If we win our quarterfinal, we will drop out of stake. So obviously if they lose against Spirit, which we expect them to face, yeah, then they can play this stake event. If they win, then they drop out of stake. And he said, it will result in us losing some points, but will only affect our September ranking since the event ends after the invites go out 3rd of August. In September, there are no big invites going out. At the same time, we will gain points by winning the quarterfinal itself. If we don't succeed in the quarterfinal, we will fly the next day to Stockholm to be ready for our game on the 1st of August. There you go. All out there.
Yeah.
All knowledge in. So we've only got the Q&A to do, Devilwalk. And some people are now trolling the Q&A as we get bigger. If you do want to take part in the Q&A ever, if you get to this point of the podcast and you say, I want to ask these guys a question, you can ask us literally anything. Anything you want, join the Discord, down the link below. And don't forget to subscribe to us here on YouTube. So the first question, Devilwalk, is from, why are we using this font again? Our stupid producer. I can't read this, man. I guess, it's Fozio. Fozio says, does Kyosuke secretly date Manasi? No, both of them have girlfriends. I don't know what this question is, bro. I don't know why. I don't know why that's a thing. I don't get it.
Well, yeah, no. Corvish says, does Donk like chocolate or vanilla ice cream?
I'm not Donk. I don't have the answer for that. I don't even remember ever seeing him eat ice cream personally. But, next interview, just before a final, I'll say Donk. This is the question all the fans want to know.
On
Do
stage.
you like chocolate or vanilla ice cream? And then Corvish will be so happy. No, I'm not doing that. Next question is from Yosh. He says, why did all 31 teams in Blast Bounty decide to collectively sabotage HOTU by denying their free ELO pick of the MongolZ? Huh? MongolZ wasn't a free ELO pick. Never.
But they probably won against MongolZ in the past.
In the practice? Because they haven't had official games, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what you mean by that one, bro. You got to make some more explanation on this. Do the next one, Devilwalk.
I was just looking through. Okay. Sapple. Thoughts on 100 Thieves. Why are they so competitive against the top tier teams, yet loses against tier 2 team opposition? Were they saving strats for Blast Bounty?
Definitely not saving strats.
I don't like... I think part of it is how hyped and motivated you get playing top tier teams and the amount of experience that is on that lineup, both with Glaive, Device, Rain. They have experience against some of these teams, against some of these coaches. They understand their thought process from, everything from all the prep work they've done in years and years facing them to just generally understanding the players better. I think when you get into tier 2 opposition, you don't put as much thought into individual players. You don't have the same sample size as they've had in the past. I think that is a big reason why, they probably are a bit more competitive against some of the bigger teams.
Yeah. I would say that especially for players like Rain, Device, and even Glaive as a coach, right? That motivation to go up against these guys to prove yourself still will push a little bit further. I'm not saying they take it easier in other games, but it's just something that naturally happens inside of you when you're going through these moments. And also, when it's so many games back to back, Counter-Strike, especially in MR12, can just be decided by one anti-eco, one little slip up, one pistols, one smoke out at the wrong time, and then you get screwed over. You know, it's such a game of small little details that these things happen. To Fars, the next question, he says, so my question, is it 99% that Spirit is going to win the tournament or 98%? Just kidding. Mate, you're probably close with a 90%, I'll be fair. But he says, my real question to you guys is, in your personal opinion, can these prime liquid, what prime liquid are we talking about here? Are we talking about 2018 liquid or like prime of this version because they beat Vitality?
I mean,
can they stop Spirit?
Probably referring to this.
Yeah, I know.
Their-ish prime.
Can they stop Spirit? Thanks. Happy to see Elysian in good condition. I wish them luck. I think a lot of people are rooting for Liquid all of a sudden with JT now. Elysian's in great form. He's North American Donk, but he's got to go up against Donk himself. And I know Elise watches so many Donk demos and things like that. He's spoken about it on YouTube videos and his refrag training and everything else he does. I don't think they could, like, it's if we're looking at it as like actual analysis, we don't have enough data on them to know if they're capable of beating Spirit. And it's on LAN, and it's Jorko's first big LAN. And while JT's calling is great, sometimes you just get popped in the head and you don't know what you're doing with it. So realistically, we can't give you like, yeah, they can definitely stop it because there's so little data for us.
I think they can have a close game against Spirit.
I think a close game, but I don't think they can stop Spirit still.
I mean, having a close game, if you're having a close game, you have the potential to win that one crucial round and tip it over to your scale.
Yeah.
I think it's obviously huge favorites in Spirit. Huge. Like, but I don't see it. Like, I think any other team in this tournament, like, if I saw MOUZ versus Spirit, I'd be more sure of Spirit than MOUZ. Than Liquid. Yeah,
but I think there's a little bit. We don't know enough about Liquid right now.
Yeah,
right?
there's a little bit of an edge of them being unpredictable and can get a good start and everything clicking. A little bit of a honeymoon period for this Liquid, having struggled for such a long time to now, you know, a release of all that pressure and stress to now having people cheering for you, wishing you well, and not memeing you anymore. I think it can do a lot for not only the individual but the whole team chemistry. So I wouldn't necessarily downplay that.
Also, JT versus Magic's and IGL head to head. Even though Magic's just taking it over, like JT has so much more experience in doing this.
Yeah, 100%.
So much more, you know. So that's also a factor. All right, next one.
So this is from Henners. Thoughts on Faze with their new roster? Do you think they can actually compete? NKJ mentioned big news coming soon regarding the roster. J Bowen looks like he could fit straight into the roster with a permanent signing. I don't know when you wrote this question, but
what
could fit straight into the roster with a permanent signing?
Well, he's on loan.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he means. So I think J Bowen, by the way, should just be signed 100%.
Yes, 100%.
Fully on that. I do think they can compete on the tier 1 level, like on really big events, or your Colognes and your Krakows and your Blast Opens and your PGL Astanas and Cluj Pokers. I feel like Twist is still going to be having a hard time as IGL. There's still some rounds where I think they're not quite in it. But this is the most excited you can be for a Faze right now, considering where they were without Karrigan. Even when they were with Karrigan, it was looking bad, right? So I like my personal, and this is just because I'm a fan of Twist as like a player, is I don't want him to be IGL. Not because I'm saying he's a bad IGL, but because my memorable crazy moments of Twist is like the Nuke game against Na'Vi where he's dominating, the highs of Antwerp, like Twist is an elite player and he's still very young. I say very young. I feel like he's very young. I feel like we've spoken about him forever, but I feel like he's very young. Yeah, he's 26, but he's still only 26, and he's been like, bro, it's been 10 years of talking about Twist. That's crazy. So I'm high on Twist, and I still think he can be at his best while not being an IGL. So my ideal situation was them to get an IGL, like a Gizmi or something, but that's already gone. But maybe he, as a person, wants to be an IGL. I need to ask him, actually. I need to actually find that out from him. So, yeah, I do think they can be competitive. I do like what we're seeing so far. I want to understand if they're keeping nature, if someone else is coming in, like what their plan is, and then we can be more sure about it.
I think this phase has the potential to be around like top 6 to 10th position.
Wow, that's higher than I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, I think they look good. I think if things click, even with nature, I think they have that potential. They have some new, young, hungry players in here, and they look good. I think they look good. I don't think they are going to be competing for that many trophies, but I think they will be like a playoff guaranteed team in a couple of months.
Wow. Higher than I would put them, but fair play. Let's see if that comes true. We'll come back to that. Next one is psychological. Even though it's technically over, pending with Faze, still news about their roster is apparently coming soon, according to NKJ in the pre-match interview. It's my interview. Everyone keeps referencing it. I still don't think it's going to be truly over for now. Do you guys think a mini roster mania of some sort will occur mid-season sometime after EWC or Blast Porto concludes? I don't think it's good for teams to do a mini roster mania before, like, because basically, Cologne being a major was a terrible idea. Even though it was an amazing major, it means that we don't have like a huge staple event because it already happened before the break. So we got messed up on timing. So I hope they never do that again, by the way. Like, give them a major at this time and then still give us Cologne afterwards. Because Cologne is iconic, right? But it does give teams a bit of wiggle room if they wanted to with how the events are, right? So if we look down event lists right now, there's EWC, there's Blast Porto, then there's Star Series. Like, September's so out of it. And then in October, everything kicks back off again. So there could be something that can happen. You are right. There could be something that happens in September, potentially around that time. But then that's still, then you got to rebuild into it, be ready for it. And then soon the major's going to come around. Like, when you hit October, it's EPL, PGL Masters Bucharest, IEM Beijing, Blast Rivals Hong Kong. Then you're straight into Singapore at the end of November. It's going to happen fast. So whoever does make a change, if they did want to make a change in September, it would be kind of crazy and wild.
I don't see people. I mean, no one's planning for that. Things have to be disastrously bad. You have to basically have multiple teams that we think are going to make the major drop out of contention, or, you know, we have to make something change fast to pick up results. And I don't really see that happening, if I'm completely honest. I think for this season, it's pretty much going to be a little bit more set. But you never know. You never know. Yeah. I mean, maybe it was the end of Falcons we saw in this Blast Bounty online match.
Yep. Maybe.
I don't think so, but never know.
All right, your last one to do, and then I got one more.
You got one more?
Well, yeah, you got to do Jaffa, and then there's one more afterwards.
Ah.
Brother. Come on, last bit. Lock in.
Give me a break, man.
No.
Hangover brain is crazy.
Hungover from Saturday. It's now Monday at 9 p.m. your time.
35 years old, and I had way 36. Too much alcohol than I should have.
Hurry up. Get on with it.
Jaffa casts. All the top 5 teams are now out of the tournament. Who do you think is going to win the Blast Bounty and why? I think Spirit is going to win it because they are the best team there.
I think Spirit are going to win it because Redonkulous Kid does exist. And he hits hard.
And they have 3 coaches.
Yeah, they have 3 coaches. One who is better than the rest. And he is a green frog. I'm joking. I'm just joking. Last question. I've got insight on this, by the way. Pirat says, do you happen to know and are able to share if Fissure is still happening in September? After their prior LAN cancellation and with payment issues, yep, some people still have not been paid, it seems very uncertain. The LAN itself would be crucial for teams that didn't make the Porto cutoff to keep up with the rest of the Tier 1. So it was almost 100% cancelled. And then all of a sudden, some guys I know from China said, do I want to come and host Fissure Shenzhen? And I was like, I thought this event was cancelled. You guys still owe money. And they went, we're going to take over this part so it can still run in China. So Fissure is a Russian organization. I guess it's based out of Serbia. Maybe my producer knows more than I do on that sense, right? And it's Fissure Playground 5. It's supposed to have $1 million prize money, and it's in Shenzhen, China. So everyone I spoke to was sure it was cancelled. And then I got this random message, and they asked me to be the host. Obviously, for obvious reasons, I will not go to host that event. I would love to come to China, no problem at all. But where the organization's money comes from, where they are in the world, it's not something I can do. That's why you'd never see me at the Fissure ones. Yeah. But they did invite me in the past. I even had conversations with them. And obviously, the Chinese guys invited me today. So what is happening is a Chinese team is taking over, like running it within China, because you obviously need to partner with a Chinese company. I can't leak who that is. That Chinese company is going to pay the outstanding money that Fissure owes, which is great for the teams, by the way. But I don't know why, as a business, you think this is a good decision to pay off someone else's money. Because I'll give you the honest truth of the whole thing. If you're going to pay off the money of Fissure to get teams to come, teams have already decided what events they're going to, and everyone thought this was cancelled. So it says on HLTV, attending teams, VRS predicted, Spirit, Falcons, 9Z, like none of these teams are going, bro. Like no one's scheduled for this to happen. No one is planning it. And like, if you look at it, so it would start on the 7th of September. So any of the teams going to Porto can't go from Porto to China because of the time difference. So that's not happening. And obviously we already have the list of teams for Porto. So it will still happen, but it will be a lot of teams outside of the VRS that might accept it. So that's my insight on it. Should be happening. Wasn't expected to happen. Fissure was just looking for money and sponsors and backing and support to be able to run it after they seemingly ran out of money. And that's where they're at with it all. But it is good that at least an event is happening with that prize money, with that opportunity for the teams outside of the VRS. Like, this will benefit your Foots of the world, and who is not at Porto? Let's have a look. Porto. No, Foots at Porto, so they're not going to go. This will benefit basically some of the other teams. So let me look. The Astralis, the Bates, the Paravis, but Bait might not also go, by the way, being a Ukrainian organization. They might not go to that. Pain, GamerLegion, Liquid, Tyloo. So yeah, it's going to be a tier 2-3 event, basically. That's how I imagine it. There you go. Yeah, you got nothing. There's nothing for Devilwalk to add to that. No. That's an all me one, baby. But yeah, I would have loved to go to Shenzhen because I've never been there myself. I heard it's pretty cool. Very big city as well, but not going to happen this time. But I do appreciate that the Chinese guys were very kind that they did want to invite me to it. But that is it for episode 76 of the All About Counter-Strike podcast. Devilwalk, you hungover man. This is your moment. I've said nothing.
This is my moment.
Go. Do it.
Well, I just want to thank everyone for watching, listening, commenting. I hope that you subscribe. This guy's ruining everything because I cannot have his voice in my head at the same time that I'm speaking with this brain that is currently lost my voice. Under construction.
Under construction.
It's been deconstructed for the weekend. It's currently rebuilding itself. But yeah. Oh, thank you guys all for the love. Love the comments. Love the everything that you guys do. So stay off of alcohol. Don't podcast on alcohol. It's bad for you.
Oh, there we go.